Hey everybody, thanks for watching Woodcrest Bonsai. Since in my last video I featured my old established Portulacaria Jade, and I also made a playlist of that tree, the very first video that I featured that tree, I also featured this tree, and I called it A Tale of Two Jades. So I thought I would also do some maintenance trimming on this guy to sort of even up the score, I guess. And this is also a finished tree. I did not style this tree. I acquired this tree from my friend who decided to liquidate her collection. And so, like, excuse me, the main branch is pretty low. And then we have two parallel branches here. But I told her I was going to try to honor her styling and not really rip her trees apart and start all over. So I am going to do one thing today that I've been mulling over, and I think it's finally time. Based on the last video I did, because I got a comment on that last video about why didn't I reduce the top so the tree was not as tall. And this guy here, you can see very plainly at the top. It's just total stovepipe, and that is never going to get any better. So I am completely going to cut that off, or cut that off completely, and then bring this up as the new leader. I did feature this tree all by itself, and I did do a lot of wiring. And I don't see any cutting into the bark, so I'm going to keep the wire on for now. Although I have to say that cutting into the bark is not the parameter that I use on whether I take the wire off or not. It's actually, did the branch fix in place? So once the branch has fixed in place, then you can take the wire off. You don't have to wait for the wire to begin to cut into the bark. Actually, there might be a little bit right there that is cutting into the bark. So let's see. We can unwire that and check it out. Whether it actually has or not. And no, it hasn't. But you also notice that the branch has stayed in place. So that's when you take the wire off, not when it starts to cut into the bark, but after the branch is in place. The only time I take wire off prematurely is if it has started to cut into the bark. Does that make any sense? I hope so. And I use the same wire to go up to this branch here. So take the wire off completely. See, and that branch stayed in place too. Okay, and I always unravel my wire because I like to reuse it. Some people just cut the wire off. So shall we do the top? And let me cut off some of this too, because it's coming off anyway, so you can see better. On a typical tree, like a woody tree, I would need way heavier tools than just my clippers. But since Portulacaria is a succulent and it doesn't really ever get any hard wood, it's going to be just as easy to just cut it with these guys. And there we go. Now if we move the big tree away, we can see that the cutting here has, since it's been trimmed numerous times, it could be rooted, and with just a minimum amount of styling, it could make another pretty cool tree right then and there. Just boom. It'd be a mame or a shohin. So I certainly haven't lost it. Just need to root it and then begin to develop it from there. since it's got so much branching and ramification, it would be a fairly simple process to turn this guy into a pretty cool little bonsai fairly quickly. So now back to the tree. So what has that done? Of course now it's going so we need to get this guy and bring it up as the new leader. Oh yeah, so much better. And now, oh man, got a frog in my throat. We see that there's nothing here, because this obviously used to be there. So now it's the new leader. So now I will need to promote some growth to come out into that section like that. A little bit of wire, and boom, you're there. The last time I spoke about this tree too, I talked about 3 very small branches. This one, and this one, that I really hoped I could promote. Because if we look at this tree, we've also seen it's missing a whole bunch right here. And this branch here could take that space. It could fill in all right here. And so I'm going to let those guys grow and thicken without really messing with them to get that look that I want. And that's going to take a while, but it'll work. For the rest of it, it's just simply a matter of trimming off the, I'm going to bring the camera a little closer. Just trimming off all the excess. Once again, foliage pads want to be nice and tight and full with good ramification. And if we look from, if we look from above on this branch here, it's got great ramification. And ramification is just branching. So it branches out, and then it branches out again, and then it branches out again. And it's got pretty nice ramification. So to continue, and this tree also has the beginnings of some leaf reduction. Let's see how tiny these guys are. Little tiny leaves. And that's also from continuous trimming. Got some in the back. I really wish I could get these guys, these small ones, to fill in. It will happen over time. This tree is also profoundly root bound. It's just incredibly root bound. So in the spring, I'm going to repot it. And the repotting process actually will stimulate new growth. So I'm fairly confident that I'm going to get these 3 little branches that I'm hoping to promote to kick off some new growth and be able to fill in the way I want them. Now this branch here is sort of truncated. I would really like it to be further out here. And all the new growth, none of it has elongated, so at this point I'm going to cut the top of the pad, and actually I think I'm pretty much done. There's just really not that much that has grown on this side. And let it get about into here so the tree has a nicer canopy. And that will also happen much more quickly after I root prune it and repot it and give the roots fresh soil to move into. So let's see. I really think chopping off the top was a good idea. And then we just need to promote some of these smaller guys. The rest of the tree is behaving pretty well. There is not one single space or place where it's grown tremendously, you know, just whoosh. And Portulacaria, when they're young, will do that like crazy. They will actually begin to weep, so the growth elongates so long and it's so thin, and then it will actually fall over on itself. Not so with a finished tree like this. So there you go, that's about it. And you know, when we look at this tree, this branch appears to be too long, but I think once we get this guy out into here, then this branch will be more in proportion. And this branch here too seems to be just too heavy, too long, but I think once we can get a pad in here, that the length it is now is going to be pretty good. Perhaps a little bit shorter. Today I'm not going to do that. So there you go. This is tree number 2 in the video that I titled A Tale of Two Jades. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you can watch me work on this tree as it develops even further. The root pruning will be in the spring. And since I live in zone 10, spring is about the end of February. So spring can be way different where you live. And leave a comment if you'd like. And every time you hit the like button and you subscribe and you leave a comment, it helps the algorithm send me to more and more people, so I truly appreciate it. Right now, as of today, I'm 1 subscriber away from 250, so thank you so much for everybody that has subscribed. Truly appreciate it. And that's it for today. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.